Hey, I'm Shay and welcome to Sunset Hill. Today's video is our spring home decor video inside the house and mainly the porches. At the end, I was able to go on a nature walk because it has been absolutely beautiful this week here, and I just wanted to share that with you. Our home is really a big mixture of many different things. I'm very fortunate to have a talented mother-in-law who is an artist, so she loads us down with a lot of things. And I was raised by a mother who was she loved to craft and decorate, so I have that as well. She was also a quilter, and I have a lot of her quilts. So I love cottage decor. It doesn't really go with the outside of our home, but we have a lot of wood on the inside, and I think it really works. I love the style because it's homey and warm. Most of our things are basically hand-me-downs. When you start out with nothing, your family gives you all their leftovers, and by the time you're 50, you've got some stuff. So a lot of it is very sentimental to us. Some of it has stories to it, and those are the things that we really treasure about our home decor. So I changed it up. The last couple of videos I didn't narrate, so I decided to change it up and narrate this time. But if you haven't already noticed, I have a horrible accent. I was born and raised in Nashville, Tennessee, and then moved to Lower Alabama with a little Southeast Texas in between. It just keeps getting worse. So if you don't want to hear me talk, just turn the volume down. Please don't be ugly. Just turn it down and enjoy the views. So come along and join me, and I hope you get some inspiration. Have a great day.
So this is our driveway, and I'm going pretty slow because I got a pup in front of me, but I wanted to get some of the wildflowers on the side. And pretty soon they'll be planting some crops, either peanuts, cotton, or corn. This is coming up to the front of our house. We lost a shrub over the winter, so I'm trying to make it pretty. It's getting there, but hopefully throughout the season it'll grow and have some pretty color there. Maybe one day I'll get to drink coffee there. We'll be working around the pool later in the season, but for now we're just doing the house and the porches. My husband built that porch last year, and he built the other one this week. Now, I'm not really a theme person, but a bee theme emerged, and I just went with it. It worked. So I think my husband did a really good job on this porch this week. And yeah, that's a charcoal grill in the middle of a fire pit. My mom was down here today grilling out with me, and we wanted some charcoal grilling, and that was way better on her back. So I think those plants will grow and cascade over and be really pretty later in the spring. So we have had some big storms with a lot of rain, and the fields washed down into the pond, so it's really muddy right now. Got some martins here. And there's our neighbors. Best kind of neighbors. And I have a little healer behind me that is dying to chase some cows, but she knows better, and she's such a good girl sometimes.
This is the pool house. We spend a lot of time out here in the summer. Sometimes we'll spend the whole weekend out here. It's just bright and cheerful. Our house is kind of dark, so being out here is it's just a feel-good spot. My grandmother actually made this hutch. I think she was in her 60s when she made it. She lived to be 100 years old, so hopefully I've got her genes. The quilts inside of it's full of quilts from my grandmother's great-grandmothers and my husband's grandmother's great-grandmothers and so on. We've had a lot of big rains this spring, so our pond is really brown and muddy from all the fields that drain into it. This is coming in our dining room. Right now it's decorated for Easter, but I will, after Easter, well, after today, I will take the bunny rabbits out, but leave all the spring flowers. I'm never without an animal or four. That's baby Kitty. I got her at 2 weeks old and bottle fed her, and she is a hot mess. My husband used to always say that I had not a brown thumb, but a black thumb. So I will have you know that is an aloe plant that is blooming inside, and evidently that's kind of rare. So he no longer says I have a black thumb. I built that bench from barnwood from my grandpa's barn, and that is a statue that my mother-in-law got us. We call it the Surfing Dragon. That desk was built by my great-grandfather for my grandfather when he was a child. And the posts that you see are all from the original farmhouse, along with the brick and some of the wood. Oh, and that blue chair was my great-grandparents', and I recovered it in some super pretty blue velvet. It's one of my favorites. And now we're coming into the kitchen. The kitchen is one of the darkest rooms in our house, so I like to have a lot of light in there just to warm it up and give it some interest. That was my husband's grandfather's desk and his other grandfather's deer antlers. That's a dried flower rack my dad built for my mom, actually. I made that broom from dried flowers on the property and a stick I found and some of our chicken feathers. And it's one of my favorite things. Now you will see some fairies. My granddaughter loves fairies, and what Meemaw would not put fairies in their house if their grandbaby loved them. So in the summer they are outside, but during the winter they hang in the house, and they haven't gone out yet. I think the fairy lights just add so much to these dark areas in our home. And all these pink flowers, I've kind of gone crazy with them this year. We live 30 minutes from the nearest Walmart and TJ Maxx, an hour from the nearest Home Goods. So Dollar General is my friend, and they have had the prettiest flowers this year. So every time I go, I get some more of them. And I live with all guys, and they're very tolerant, but I'll show you later why they're tolerant, why my husband is at least, of my pink flowers everywhere for the spring. My husband had that pottery made for me, and it has our name and the year we got married stamped in it. And all of our cutting boards were built by some of my husband's friends. Local chicken eggs. That base was a wedding present for my husband's grandparents. Most of what's above our cabinets in the kitchen are antiques from my husband's side of the family. And some live plants because I don't have a black thumb, and some more Dollar General pink flowers. My husband's grandma was from Mobile and his papa was from Louisiana, and he was Cajun, so we ended up with some really neat cook pots from her. Those are just some flowers that were coming up right now, and I thought they looked great in the windowsill. But I think they're shedding everywhere, so I'll probably get rid of those. Cardboard box for the cats, about like children. That was my grandma's rocking chair, and it's been known to rock on its own at night, so it's kind of creepy. My husband built that cigar box guitar, and the shovel was my grandfather's from World War II. Our living room furniture, I believe, is the only furniture that we have actually purchased. Everything else has come from somebody or somewhere. That bowl we found in Tallahassee over the winter. My husband got me several of them from a local artisan there, and they were made from all different types of wood that we have around here. I loved how that swag turned out on the mantle this spring. That was off of a barge, I believe. And my husband's father brought it back from Scotland. But I think it was originally from Africa. Big story with that one. I just want you to look at how pretty these flowers are. In the daggum dollar store. I mean, that's just a good find there. My husband's great uncle built that hickory chair. He says he helped him when he was a kid. I guess he did. That is a working Victrola. And it's kind of like the rocking chair. It's a little creepy. That came off of a ship. This is our landing upstairs. That's my sunroom is on that side and the master bedroom's on the other side. My mother-in-law did the artwork. And the master bedroom is very moody and dark, but it is so hot here that I love it that way. I got this fern, that fern is a small fern last summer, and it is massive. Now here is a good reason why my husband says nothing about my pink flowers, because in his man cave is his Harley. He said it was just too cold for it outside. Ridiculous. There's Sky and Bevo. And this was my first walk of the season. I don't know if I've told you, but I had a little run-in with Mr. Rattlesnake last fall. And so most of my adventuring is on a golf cart these days, but I had to get some grass beneath my feet. It was a beautiful day. The sun was shining through the trees, the wind was blowing, and I just had to get out. Of course, I was very careful where I was walking. But this is what we call Fairy Glen. It's where the fairies come to live in the summertime, and it grows up with the horrible stuff we call kudzu here in the south, and it's very invasive, but for a fairy glen, it's perfect. So we try and keep it contained to this area. I mean, you know, when you got something like that, you might as well make something good out of it. Hey.